A civil lawsuit in which a Houston contractor accuses an HISD board member of taking bribes has taken a potentially explosive turn.
Yeah, in a new court filing, that contractor claims that a tape recording provides evidence of a pay-to-play scheme at HISD. Eyewitness News reporter Tom Abrams gives us a closer look at this complicated case.
Until now, the civil lawsuit in federal court has focused on just one HISD trustee, Larry Marshall. But now others at the top of the state's largest school district, including the superintendent himself, are having to answer questions about the district's bid process. An audio recording was submitted late today as part of a federal court filing in an ongoing civil suit against HISD board member Larry Marshall and two outside vendors. The Ramirez Group, which brought the lawsuit, claims the recordings contain excerpts of a conversation between another HISD contractor, Pete Medford of Fort Bend Mechanical, and former investigative reporter Wayne Dolcefino, who was working as a consultant for the plaintiff's father. Medford told Eyewitness News that he'd had several conversations with Dolcefino, but he's concerned the information distributed is tainted and not true. He suggested that the tapes may have been manipulated. In those recordings, the voice identified as Medford appears to allege that Daryl Carter, a local attorney and lobbyist, approached Medford saying that Superintendent Terry Greer was asking for donations to a political action committee supporting a bond election campaign in exchange for a possible piece of nearly $2 billion in new construction contracts.
Daryl sat there and said, he pulled that chair all the way up to the edge of my desk. He said, I'm here. Terry's got me going around to contractors like you, Pete, and, Terry expects contractors like you to give anywhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25K. If you give that 25K, Pete, you will be on the list to get work in the bond.
Superintendent Terry Greer is not a defendant in the case. Through a district spokesman, Greer adamantly denies allegations he calls flat-out lies. Attempts to reach Carter were not successful. The recording also mentions trustee Larry Marshall, who's not just a defendant in the suit, but also the subject of a federal investigation into HISD contracts.
So how much would you say you gave Larry? Let's take the campaign money out of it over the years since 2008.
Oh,
25
since 2008?
Yeah. 100?
Probably 140, maybe 150.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
$150,000?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
Wayne, it's just the way they still do business, the way they're always going to do business around public work.
This appears to contradict a sworn deposition from last year in which Medford denied making any non-campaign related payments to HISD board members. Marshall, in his deposition, also denied receiving anything of value directly from Medford other than campaign contributions and gifts from a friend and consultant. Wanted to ask you. At tonight's board meeting, Marshall referred us to his legal counsel. Calls to his counsel were not returned. The filing also mentions other board members. Listen as the voice appears to refer to trustee Greg Myers.
Well, how much have you paid him?
Oh, man, over the last couple of years, probably $10,000.
Well, all in cash?
Not all in cash.
Well, how do you do it?
$2,500 in checks, and then maybe another $1,000 in cash, another $1,500 in cash.
Is the checks all show up in his campaign that way?
Can't show up his campaign that way.
Right.
But here's the strange thing.
It's the cash that doesn't.
Here's the strange thing. I can go back and pull the checks like for Paula and stuff.
Yeah.
And me and Eric, my son, verified this. Half of those don't show up on their campaign register, even though they're checks. They still don't show up on their campaign register.
The filing claims that Paula is trustee Paula Harris. Both she and Greg Myers deny taking any money that wasn't reported as a campaign contribution.
Those allegations are unequivocally false. I've been very meticulous as far as how I handle any of my campaign contributions, and they're fully documented on the reports that I file at the appropriate time.
Did he ever pay you in cash?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I don't even take cash for that reason, because it's not able to be documented.
So everything he gave you was in a check, and it was documented in your campaign reports?
Yes, sir.
The civil case next goes before a judge tomorrow afternoon for a motion hearing, and we'll be there. Tom Abrams, 13 Eyewitness News.